Hello everybody and welcome to the IGL Coatings Online Training Academy. Today we're going to be talking about our most versatile ceramic coating, and that is IGL Eclipse. So what is IGL Eclipse? It is our industrial grade ceramic coating, not to be confused with IGL Aegis, which is a 2-pack clear coating. IGL Eclipse is actually a ceramic nano coating that is designed to protect the surface as well as give you fantastic self-cleaning and dirt-resistant properties. What do I mean by protecting the surface? I'm talking about chemicals, alkalines, acids, salts, petrols, fertilizers, and so on. The list continues. And why do you need this kind of protection? For two things. First and most obvious is that you want to protect the surface and keep it looking as new as possible for as long as possible for reduced maintenance, improved resale, improved appearance, and so on. However, from what we have found in our experience in using this product, most customers value the reduced downtime most. So if you apply this product on some earth moving equipment, excavators, diggers, and whatever surfaces that need to be cleaned for as long as possible, the reduced downtime will actually save the customer quite a lot of money. So imagine you applying this product on some mining vehicles or some farming machinery. The longer those vehicles or machines stay working on the field, the more money they will make. As soon as you pull them off the field to wash them and maintain them, it actually becomes a cost rather than an asset. So what we want to do with this product is reduce that downtime and allow the customer to make money for longer and be more profitable. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, IGL Eclipse is incredibly versatile. We have seen it used on everything from airplanes, mining vehicles, earth moving equipment, kitchen bench tops, stainless steel appliances, vehicle underbodies. We have seen fire trucks and ambulances and police cars coated with IGL Eclipse. We have seen it almost used everywhere. Some people actually use IGL Eclipse on wheels when they want ultimate chemical resistance. And so pretty much whenever you want something to be as protected as possible, you should consider IGL Eclipse. However, it does come with some drawbacks. Unlike our automotive coatings range, which are designed to give you protection and aesthetics, IGL Eclipse is designed to give you the best protection possible with as least compromise as possible. And that means to achieve the right spec of protection when using IGL Eclipse, you ideally want to apply it as it was designed to be applied, which is spray or apply and walk away. You are not to level this product, although we do level it in the kitchens tutorial and the bathrooms tutorial, because those surfaces need to look as good as possible, as well as be protected as good as possible. This product is designed to be applied and left. It is not designed to be leveled. In saying that, it also means that if you apply it, it cures as fast as possible so that machine can go back to the field or to the mine site and do its job without an extended delay. And that fast curing means that it flashes quickly and it becomes difficult to level and buff off after being applied. So if you do plan on leveling this product, you need to level it straight away. But we will cover that later on in this video. How you can incorporate this product in your business is quite a big subject because it really depends on what industry you're in. If you're a car detailer, you can apply IGL Eclipse on underbodies. If you don't want to use IGL Aegis, you can use IGL Eclipse on bull bars. You can use IGL Eclipse on wheels and wheel arches. You can use IGL Eclipse on heavy machinery and commercial vehicles, and the list goes on. If you are an industrial customer, you can use IGL Eclipse wherever you need dirt resistance. So for example, if you have some conveyors, if you have some chutes, if you have some industrial fans, if you have any surface that gets contaminated and dirty quickly and dirt and grime starts building up, you can use IGL Eclipse. And finally, of course, we talked about it, you can apply it on airplanes, and Byron and a few other gentlemen and detailers in America do an amazing job with IGL Eclipse on airplanes. Use IGL Eclipse on those. You can use IGL Eclipse on firefighting vehicles. You can use IGL Eclipse on earth moving equipment and excavators and diggers and mining machinery. It is just a huge broad spectrum. Choosing when to use IGL Eclipse really comes down to a few things and what your business is about. If you're an automotive detailer, you need to really consider why you're applying that coating. If you want just hydrophobics, consider other products. But if you want chemical, resistance and durability, this is where you can use IGL Eclipse. And also don't forget, as I mentioned, because this product is designed to flash quickly and cure quickly, it is not really designed to be applied and leveled. So we have seen people coat fire trucks with it and quite large motorhomes and caravans with it. It is a difficult product to use if you're planning on leveling it and you're not really following the specifications of application if you're leveling this product. So it might be worthwhile considering something like IGL Elixir in that case. But if you want to level it, by all means, you can definitely use it. However, you will get the best results by applying it as per the recommendations of IGL, which is without leveling. Now what I'm going to do is leave you in the capable hands of Marcus Parsley, who is probably our most experienced applicator of IGL Eclipse in the world. We do have permission from IGL head office to use this video. So thank you, Marcus, and thank you to IGL for allowing us to incorporate this in the training program, because it is the best kind of training when you're having it from somebody who's incredibly experienced in the field. IGL USA do run in-person training courses, which I highly recommend for anybody who can go and get them. And they run these courses for, to my knowledge, IGL Aegis, IGL Armor, IGL Eclipse, and IGL Marine. So definitely go check out those courses. But if you are in Australia or if you're in a part of the world where you do not have access to that in-person training, this is the next best thing. So enjoy this video and we'll come back for some frequently asked questions.
All right, hey, I'm Marcus and I'm glad you're back with us. Let's talk about ATVs or toys or UTVs or motorcycles or mopeds, anything like that. Oftentimes people put way too much thought into this, and it's really quite simple. It doesn't take long to accomplish. But before we get into these things, we have to decide what we're trying to accomplish. How much product do we need? Seldom you're going to need anything more than a 200 ml. The 500 ml is reserved for larger jobs. Shouldn't need more than anywhere from 50 ml for a vehicle this size up to 150, 200 ml for a full-size UTV type vehicle. IGL is kind enough to include gloves in their boxes or in the kit when you get it. And that's just a good reminder for you that you need PPE. You're going to need eye protection. You're going to need a good pair of gloves. We strongly and highly recommend, whether you're ventilated or not, in a ventilated spot or not, that you use a good organic vapor mask. And if you don't have skin covering on, we recommend that you use a nice suit to cover your clothes. We're not going to be spraying hard, and that's another thing we have to decide. Hey, are we gonna spray this guy, or are we gonna use an applicator and apply it by hand? Both work equally well. It's just we found that it's a lot faster to mix the both of them. You save product, and you're done a whole lot quicker. What we have to do, we have to first figure out what we're doing. It looks like we got one out of storage. It's dirty, it's got a lot of dust on it, it's lightly corroded, and it's also got packing material all over it. So we'll strip all of that off, prep it up. We gotta wash it, we're gonna have to degrease it. So we have IGL Multi for that. And then when we get done, right before we get ready to coat it, we'll make sure that it's dry. And then we'll use pre-coat just to make sure there's no body oils or anything like that on it. All right, thank you, we're back. We've got all the packing material off. If this is your nice Harley Davidson at home or a vehicle that doesn't go in the mud all the time, you may want to check and see if there's any computer pieces or something like that that you don't want to get saturated in water or soap or whatever, whatever cleaning material. But as a rule, UTVs are made to go out and play in the mud, so there isn't any taping off. And I want you guys to know that when you're doing your side-by-sides at home, you're going to get in there and clean those parts that you think are so susceptible to water and rust, because they're not, all right? They're designed from the factory to get wet. They're designed to go in the mud. So go ahead and pull that hood off, and if you look down in there, you're gonna have your fuse box and all your electrical connections. Clean that out, make sure there's nothing in there, dry it out thoroughly before we go into coating, but be sure you coat those as well. So now it's pretty simple. We're just going to clean it up, get all the debris, all the loose debris off. We'll use IGL Multi to get any grease or anything like that off. We're going to use IGL Blizzard, it looks like. We're going to give her a rinse. We're going to wash her off, and we'll be right back to start drying it and coating it. All right, before we get started making a mess and doing all the washing, any of the heavy grease areas, we'll use IGL Multi and pre-spray them and let it dwell on there, and that'll help cut all that extra grease and stuff off. We want our tires to look good, so we'll go ahead and spray them down too with Multi and just let it be dwelling. Any of the areas that are heavily soiled, just give them a quick spritz with Multi, and she'll be that much more ready when you spray her down. Black tires always look better. Shoo, old girl's a little messier than I thought she was. All right, something to think about. I have a lot of questions about, hey, can I spray over Zerk fittings, grease fittings? Can I spray over the cylinder on a shock absorber? Can I spray over or coat this or that or whatever your question is? You can coat everything on your ATV. There's nothing to be afraid of. It's a ceramic coating. The build and the film is negligible. It will wear off of anything that it doesn't like to stay on anyway. A super flexible rubber. You don't want to waste your product focusing on those areas, but spraying over them or coating over them is no big deal. I get this question all the time. Again, there's no issues at all. We're going to coat everything from the seat, and it doesn't matter that this is a little four-wheel drive ATV. This is your UTV that you're in racing around that you spent $60,000 on. I get it. We've coated them. We've found for years that there's no issue at all. There's no damage to anything. Coat away at your heart's content. All right, we've got our machine all cleaned up. We've decided what we're going to do. Obviously, we're going to be doing a little spraying. We're going to be doing a little hand application. But I want to address some things about Eclipse before we ever get started. Look, it's still a ceramic coating, so it's still a chemical. Even I wear eye protection and gloves anytime I handle it. So a lot of folks have some issues, and we're gonna deal with a lot of the little questions right here, all right? So opening the product to start with, it's got a nice tight seal on it. You rip that piece off and discard it properly in the trash. You open this up and you look inside, and there's a little plunger. It's got a little handle on it. I strongly recommend that you don't grab that handle and pull it. You're gonna probably need a small screwdriver or a little opening tool, something of that nature. So in opening this, like I said, we're going to break the seal around it in case it's extra tight from shipping and it's been sitting on the shelf for a little bit. When we pull this out and pry this out, we pry it out gently, opening it up, and now we've got our product. When you look in there, it's not going to look full to you, but I assure you, it's been measured and measured and measured again. This is exactly what you ordered, 200 ml, if not a drop or two more. Listen, once we use this and use any out of it, we're going to carefully seal that back in. This little guy right here is very deceptive. Many of you will throw this away and try to seal it with this and then call me in a month and say your product's solid. It is, because this isn't an airtight seal. This is. Put that back in, screw the lid back on, store it safely in a well-ventilated area, in an area that's not susceptible to a lot of direct sunlight and heat, okay? All right, let's quickly talk about gun setup. I like to use whatever diluent or thinner or solvent that I have laying around the shop. Most of the time it's going to be, for the use of Eclipse, it's going to be a urethane reducer. I like it. The reason why I like urethane reducer, it doesn't leave any film behind in your gun. Your paint store is going to tell you to use something a lot stronger that's going to leave stuff behind so that you'll come back and buy another gun from them. We want our guns to last and last and last. So we use urethane reducer. In this case, we're going to use butyl acetate. It's what was handy. Anything, any kind of solvent will clean the gun up. Plus, it helps you dial your gun in. So we've already determined that we've got about 120 pounds of air pressure out there at the compressor. We can tell that just by looking, by turning this valve on, and we can see what the machine's supplying us. I like to open it up just a little bit, just enough to get her started, and then I supply air to the gun. That's going to come out of the gun. It's very simple. I go from closed off to about 2 p.m. Closed to 2 p.m. Then I come up and make sure that I've got air. I'm not shooting any product. You can see that. I'm just shooting air. If I squeeze it a little harder, I tend to shoot product. So there's 2 stages. So now I'm shooting air, and I'm shooting way harder than I want to shoot. So I'm going to dial this back down, because at the end of the day, we're only going to want to shoot at about, like I said, 5.5 pounds. You can barely hear the gun blowing right now. That gives you a nice even finish. It lays down quick. You're not wasting a lot of product. You don't want to be fogging up the shop. If you're fogging up your shop, you're making us a lot of money, but you're costing yourself a lot of money. We don't want to do that. This needle here, or this valve here, is going to pull this needle back and move everything around and determine how much product you're going to get out of your gun. In this case, we want just enough product to cover it. We're not painting, we're ceramic coating it. We're protecting it and making it easier to clean for when this kid gets out in the mud and gets it all nasty and daddy has to clean it up later. This valve up here, we open it up just enough to open up the fan. Depending on the model gun that you get, whether you get a G model gun, which stands for wide fan, or your standard model gun. This model gun here is an LPH 80.082G. So it's going to open up to a pretty decent 3.5 to 4 inch fan. What I recommend is a piece of cardboard. Dial it in. Like I said, we're going to get roughly 5.5, 6 pounds on our gauge when I'm squeezing for air. We've got enough air supply to the gun to make sure it's going to maintain that. I open the needle up about 2 turns. I open the fan just to test how far it's going. I'll use my hand to demonstrate. You should be able to see it just pass across it. I got about a 3-inch fan right there. That's exactly where we need to be. We're dialed in. We're able to maintain our pressure. So we're ready to go as far as the spraying goes. Now we'll get rid of the diluent that's in there, replace that with Eclipse, get our pads and everything ready to go. We'll have this old girl done in about 10 minutes. All right, so we talked about how we load the gun and how we're going to spray with the gun. Let's talk about how we apply with your microfiber blocks. Pretty simple. That's it. A little bit goes a long way. And this is used especially on the flats. This is what we call the flats or the pretties. Anything that we want to make pretty. The rest of it we're going to be shooting, and we'll even shoot this to some degree, but this makes sure we've got a good even finish that's aesthetically pleasing, because at the end of the day, we told the client and the client told us they just want to keep it from being muddy and make it easier to clean and all that neat stuff, but you know and I know they're going to want it to look pretty at the end of the day. All right, guys, we're back. We're ready to go. We get all suited up. PPE is important. Listen, if you don't have a tight seal around your wrists or your ankles, make sure you use masking tape to seal those areas up. Protect your eyes, safety glasses, and a good organic vapor mask that's your mask, identified as your mask, and properly stored. Make sure your canisters are in the right way. Don and clear your mask, and then go to work. So we're going to take a second, going to take a break, because this is an area of contention with many people when they're coating ATVs, UTVs, or anything like that. This is hard plastic. This is hard plastic. Different textures though. You notice this is extruded. This has got that texturally grain on it. So a lot of folks tell me later on down the road, hey, this turned gray on me, or hey, this is peeling on me. It's very simple. This is all you need, a microfiber towel. This kind of wipe stops that problem from ever happening. So this kind of plastic, a lot of people get really confused and really upset when they try to coat this or when they try to spray this. Generally speaking, it's pretty simple. Just dust over it and level it. And if that bothers you, which it does a lot of folks because I get a lot of calls on it, it's pretty simple. Let's just do it by hand and we'll demonstrate. We load our applicator. We seal her back every single time. And then quickly, there is no cross hatching. It's not necessary. And just like I tell folks all the time, if you like what you see when you apply it, you can walk away from it. If you don't like what you see, it's pretty simple. Level it. Leveling it is not as difficult as people think. Fold your towel. You've got 8 sides to your towel. You're going to need it. There's a couple different ways you can do this, and I'll show you both techniques so that you don't kill your arms. Lay the microfiber down on top of it, place your hand on it, and pull the microfiber, just keeping gentle pressure on it. It pulls it right off. There is no effort involved here. It's pretty simple. I see a lot of folks wadding their towel up and just going crazy. You can do that if you want to, but we like to keep it simple. Lay it on it, lay your hand, put some pressure, gently pull it across, and that panel is nice and pretty. Thanks for joining us.
Let us now go through some frequently asked questions, and in no particular order, we can start off with, should I use IGL wheel or IGL Eclipse? This is a question that comes up frequently because a lot of the guys and girls in America spray IGL Eclipse on wheels. This comes down to 2 things. First of all, if you're going to be applying the IGL Eclipse on that wheel, are you planning on leveling it or not leveling it? If you plan on not leveling it and you have the skills that are required to spray it on nice and neat with an airbrush or a high volume, low pressure spray gun, you can definitely use IGL Eclipse. However, if you are coating a wheel that needs to look its best, you cannot beat IGL wheel coating. It is designed to be used on wheels. This is designed to be used on a variety of surfaces. So, to summarize that question, you can really use either one, but you're only going to get the benefit of IGL Eclipse if you don't level it. So keep that in mind when doing wheels. Next question is, can I use IGL Eclipse on the underbody of a vehicle? Yes, you can, but you need to spray it on in a thin layer. If you spray it on thick, it's going to peel and crack because it is a ceramic coating. It is not something like IGL Aegis, which is an elastomer. Also, in saying that, you need to consider why you're coating the underbody. In my opinion, IGL Aegis will always be better to coat underbodies of vehicles than IGL Eclipse because it gives you considerably better longevity, considerably better anti-corrosion properties. However, IGL Eclipse will probably give you better hydrophobics and better dirt resistance. So if you're after a coating just for the sake of cleaning things and maybe a cheaper application, not sure how it will be considering that both, I guess, prep work will be the same, you can use IGL Eclipse, but I would always suggest using IGL Aegis. Should I use IGL Eclipse or IGL Aegis on heavy machinery? Again, this comes down to what you're after and your skills as an applicator. IGL Eclipse is going to cure much faster, so you can coat the machine now and pretty much send it out later tonight. And it's going to consume less physical product. It's going to consume a lot less because you can only spray it on in a thin layer, and it's going to look really, really good because it doesn't have that graphene in there that's going to make it look, I guess, slightly tinted. But just like the underbody discussion, it's not going to give you the same anti-corrosion properties, and it's going to be far thinner as a coating than IGL Aegis, which is 100 microns. Can you use IGL Eclipse on food preparation surfaces? In my opinion, yes. IGL Eclipse is inert once cured, but it is not a food grade coating. You should not be applying IGL Eclipse in areas that you're going to be making food in, like mixing bowls, for example. I would not do that. But you can definitely apply it onto kitchen bench tops. You can apply it onto appliances. You can apply it onto commercial kitchens, commercial stainless steel kitchens, to make them easier to clean and easier to look after. That's something you can definitely do, but don't go applying it on chopping boards, for example. You should not really do that. It's not designed to be applied there. Does IGL Eclipse protect against corrosion? IGL Eclipse has been tested for, to my knowledge, 500 salt spray hours. This is a considerable length of time, but it is nowhere near the 6,000 salt spray hours that IGL Aegis has been designed to cope with. So in terms of corrosion protection, IGL Aegis is better. However, if you're dealing with things that are faded, so let's talk about faded signage, faded outdoor equipment and playground equipment, IGL Eclipse is actually a great way of restoring that color to those items. It's not going to restore the pigment that's faded, but because it has the silicons and the nanoparticles in there, it's going to penetrate that surface and give it a look that it has been restored, which is actually amazing. So if you're dealing with a client that has a lot of outdoor signage that's faded and it's going to cost them a lot of money to replace that signage, you might be able to sell them into IGL Eclipse, and it's going to rejuvenate that sign or that outdoor equipment for maybe a year or two more, saving them quite a lot of money. Can IGL Eclipse be used in a marine environment? Absolutely it can. However, you need to compare the specs with IGL Marine, because IGL Marine coating is designed to be very resistant to salt, where IGL Eclipse is designed to be very resistant to chemicals. You can probably use the two in combination and layer them, or you can, for example, like Danny Chong does in Thailand and Singapore, you can use IGL Marine on the hull of the boat and IGL Eclipse on the structure above the waterline. So it is definitely something you can use in conjunction with each other. And finally, before we wrap up this video, is how do I incorporate IGL Eclipse in what I'm doing now as a business? This is quite a broad question because a lot of people are watching this video from different industries. You might be a car detailer, you might be a marine detailer, you might be an industrial customer, and the list goes on. So really think about what you're trying to achieve. If you want self-cleaning, chemical resistance, IGL Eclipse can be applied as long as that surface is non-porous. I have seen people test IGL Eclipse on porous surfaces like wood, sandstone and things like that. I have not personally tested that, and because IGL has not designed the product to be used in that way, we cannot confirm the results. You can probably use IGL wood for a better result until that becomes a tested variable that we have. Until then, we recommend using this product on non-porous surfaces, including things like tiles, as we mentioned in our home coatings video. Anything that you want chemical resistance for, ease of cleaning, even things like graffiti resistance, apply this on things like trains, buses, trucks. IGL Eclipse is incredibly versatile. It's an amazing product. And as you have seen from this video, with the right technique, it is not a difficult product to use. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to presenting the next tutorial module for you.